Hey H4 community, my name's Christina. I'm an H4 member and I'm also a registered yoga teacher. And I just wanted to share a brief yoga practice with everybody that you can incorporate in between your workouts to help with mobility, to help with stretching, and also to help cultivate a little bit of peace and calm in our minds during this difficult time. So you don't need much for this practice. I do suggest having a strap of some sort. So if you have a band or if you have a yoga strap, that's great. If you don't have either of those, you can grab a belt out of the closet or even the tie around like a bathrobe. So any sort of strap will be necessary just for a couple stretches that we're doing. If you have a block, that might come in handy, but not necessary. So if you do know that you like to practice with blocks, and you don't have one, you can grab a roll of toilet paper or even a tall water bottle can help as well. So we're gonna get started. And before we do, if you'd like to practice with music, I would suggest a Spotify playlist. It's called The Most Beautiful Songs in the World. And it's just an open playlist. So that would be a nice relaxing playlist that you could listen to as you watch this video. I'm not going to play any music in the background just so that you can hear me clearly. So we're going to get started on our spines. So go ahead and lower down to your back. Have the strap in your hand. You're going to straighten the left leg and bring the right knee in towards the right armpit. So we're creating compression in the right hip here. And I want you to keep your left leg active. So the left toes are pointing straight up. The back of the left leg is pressing into the earth. At the same time, you're drawing the right knee in towards the right armpit, so kind of on the outside of that rib cage. And your shoulders are staying relaxed towards the earth. The face is relaxed, and we begin to find our breath, our long, steady breath, in through the nose and out through the nose if possible. And we're going to begin to straighten the leg, but first take your strap or your band and wrap it around the ball mount of the foot. And then we're going to take the strap into the right hand and press that right heel up towards the ceiling. So you can grab your strap anywhere that feels comfortable, but I'd like you to keep your right shoulder pressed into the mat. So the right shoulder and the right shoulder blade are grounded. The left arm can relax. You can place your hand on your belly or out to the side, whatever feels best. And we're just going to work on lengthening the back of the leg here. So the heel is pressing up towards the ceiling and your toes are drawing down towards your face. And so if you can't keep your knee straight, that's okay. If your leg is a lot lower down, that's okay. We're just working with your body and creating a stretch in the back of the leg. If you're super flexible in the hamstrings and you need to, you can choke up a little on the band and continue drawing those toes closer to the back of the mat. Again, trying to relax all the other areas of your body. The only area that is still engaged is that left leg. It continues to ground into the mat. And then one more adjustment you can make is lifting the kneecap. So we're engaging the front of the thigh, drawing the kneecap towards the hip, and adding a little more intensity to that stretch while also protecting the knee. Holding this for 3 more deep breaths. And then we're going to move the strap into the left hand. And we're going to take an IT band stretch. So we're going to move the foot just about 6 inches over to the left. And you should feel that pretty quickly. It's an intense stretch. Try to maintain that same flexion of your right foot. And if that's super intense, stay right here. If you feel like you might need a little more stretch, you can take the heel of the right hand and bring it to the hip crease. And we're just gonna press gently into the hip crease and imagine that you're pressing that hip down towards the left big toe. So just a slight adjustment here intensifies that stretch in the IT band. I'm taking about 3 to 5 nice deep nasal breaths here. Releasing that hand and an inhale to bring the foot back towards the center. You can release the strap and bend the knee and draw it in towards the chest once more. And then we're going to take a twist here. So just bringing that right knee towards the left and dropping the knee towards the earth, grounding down through the right shoulder and the right arm. Your gaze can stay up at the ceiling, or if you'd like to complete the twist, you can gaze over the right arm. So just allowing your breath and gravity to move your body into this twist. So there's no forcing or pushing here. You're just using those nice deep belly breaths. And you'll notice after a few breaths that the body will start to loosen and your shoulder will ease a little closer to the ground. Inhaling the head back to center. And exhale as you untwist the spine. And from here, we're going to draw the left knee in towards the chest, so both knees are in. And giving your knees a nice squeeze. You can even wrap your forearms around your shins, reaching for opposite elbows if that is accessible. Otherwise, just drawing the knees in. See if you can press your entire spine into the mat. So from the back of the head down through the neck. Obviously, the neck is going to have some arch in it. But pressing the shoulder blades into the mat, pressing the low back, and finally the tailbone down into the mat. The shoulders are grounded. It's a nice compression here. And we're going to release the right leg down, drawing the left knee in towards the left armpit. So kind of sneaking that knee around the rib cage, creating some compression in the left abdomen. This is great for digestion, also for detoxification. And again, let's find our subtle cues here. So the right leg is nice and grounded and straight. It's pressing into the earth, and the toes are flexed up towards the ceiling. The toes on the left foot can just be relaxed. Our shoulders are pressing into the earth. Our face is soft. Eyes can be closed. And then we'll reach for our band, wrap it around the ball knot of the left foot. Press the heel towards the ceiling, holding that strap in your left hand. We're going to work on straightening the left leg if possible. If not, then just work on your angle. So you might be a little lower, and that's okay. And again, if your hamstrings are really flexible, then straightening that leg out, pressing the heel towards the ceiling and drawing the toes towards the back of your mat. The shoulders are relaxed into the earth. The right leg is still active. And lastly, engaging the left kneecap. So drawing that kneecap up, engaging the quadriceps. Taking 3 more deep breaths in here. You may notice a little bit of shaking. That's okay. We always want to find our edge, but never push into something that's painful. And after your last breath, you're going to bring the strap into your right hand. Bring that foot about 6 inches over the body for that IT band stretch. As soon as you feel that stretch, go ahead and pause. Re-engage the left foot. So heel towards the ceiling, toes towards your face. And if you need a little intensity, you can take the heel of the left hand, bring it to the left hip crease, and then press that hip down towards the right big toe. Take 3 to 5 deep breaths here. Releasing the left hand and inhaling that left foot back to neutral. You can go ahead and release the strap, bend the knee, draw that knee in towards the left armpit once more. And then an inhale to release the knee slightly, but keeping it bent, crossing it over towards the right for our spinal twist. Allowing that knee to fall wherever it falls, and then allowing the breath to guide your left shoulder down to the earth. Gaze can remain up at the sky or the ceiling, or you can bring it over to the left arm. Using your belly breaths here. There's no forcing, no pushing. Just drawing air deep into your belly, letting it expand and get full. And then just watching as the belly contracts on the exhale. Inhaling the gaze back to neutral, drawing the left knee back in towards that left armpit, and then drawing the right knee in as well. We'll take one more ball pose where we compress everything, wrapping the arms around the shins, maybe reaching for opposite elbows, just drawing everything in, but keeping the spine grounded. Releasing that, bringing the hands to the backs of the knees, and maybe just gently rolling forward and backward on your mat, just rolling out the spine. And we'll come to seated, and from here we'll come into a tabletop position. So tabletop, bringing the wrists right under the shoulders and the knees right under the hips. Engaging the core here, looking down in between your hands. Relaxing the feet. We'll take a few cat-cow positions, okay? So our cow, we inhale, we let the belly soften, we lift the heart, and we lift the gaze. And on our exhale, we press into the hands, and we round the upper back, drawing the tailbone down, gaze between the knees. This is our cat. Inhaling through cow, Belly softens, heart lifts, gaze comes forward. Exhale, cat, press into the palms, round the upper back, gaze between the knees. Do 3 more rounds using your breath to guide you. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. 1 more round. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. Inhaling back to a neutral spine. We're going to come up to tall knees and we're going to take a gate pose. So this is a really nice side body stretch, really gets into the psoas and the hip flexors. So we're going to extend your left leg out to the side. You want your hips to be as square as possible, but the left one will be a little bit higher, and that's okay. Your foot can be pointed in any direction that's comfortable. So from here, you're going to reach the right arm up, inhaling deeply. And then on your exhale, you're just going to slide that left hand down the leg, reaching up and over with the right hand. So feeling a stretch all along this side. Using the breath here, so no forcing, but just allowing the breath to ease your body into the stretch. If you'd like, you can bring your gaze up onto the left inner arm, or you can keep the gaze neutral, whenever it feels best on your neck. And then to counter this stretch, we're going to inhale, reach the right arm high. Exhale, plant that right hand to the right side just below your shoulder. The left leg stays planted, and then now the left arm will reach up and over. So this is the supported side plank. Should feel a nice opening along the left side of the body. Imagine that you are pressing that left foot down to the earth and then reaching the left hand up and over like a rainbow. Inhale to rise using your core. And we'll exhale and switch sides. So if you need anything, I forgot to mention, you can pad your knees if you need any extra padding, or you can roll your mat up like this so that you have 2 layers. So extending the right leg out, finding wherever your foot feels comfortable, lengthening the spine. Inhale, reach the left arm high. Exhale, reach up over to the right. Bringing that gaze either to the center or under the left arm. Take 1 more deep breath here. Inhale to rise. We're going to plant that left hand just below the left shoulder. The right foot stays and the right arm reaches up. So grounding through the right foot, reaching through the right fingertips, pressing through the left hand, creating that nice arc to open the right side body. Inhale to rise using the core. Exhale, coming back to tall knees. You can remove any padding that you had here. Bringing the hands back down to the mat into tabletop. And then walking the hands, maybe just a handprint forward. We're going to tuck the toes. We're going to press back into downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is a great pose to lengthen, open the backs of the legs, improving ankle mobility, and also strengthening and toning the upper body. So in our downward facing dog, all fingers are pointing forward. If you were to draw a line across the top of the mat, your peace fingers, so your two peace fingers would be parallel with that line. You draw the outer arms in towards one another so that the soft parts of the elbow are opening up towards the ceiling. And then we draw the shoulders away from the ears. The spine is long, so there's no arch in our back. We're trying not to round the spine either. If you find yourself rounding, go ahead and bend your knees so that you can straighten your spine. More important here to have a straight spine than to have straight legs. If you are working on straight legs, then you can go ahead and walk the dog by bringing one heel down to the earth at a time. I'm just going to be here for 2 more breaths. See if you can, on the exhale, bring the chest through the arms. On your next inhale, reach that right heel up towards the sky. On your exhale, bend the knee, draw the knee in towards the chest, and step the right foot between the hands. If that movement was difficult, then just take it in steps. So bring the foot in steps. We're going to come into a low lunge here, so we're going to drop the back knee down. We're going to bring the hands to the top of the knee. We're going to rise up to our lunge pose. Inhale, reaching the arms high. Exhale, relaxing the shoulders. So we're keeping our hips nice and square here. We don't want to be too far forward because that creates a lot of compression in the low back. So you can sort of be on the side of having a more straight back. So rather than reaching forward, see if you can lift up a little bit and even find some lengthening in your tailbone. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Inhale, lean forward slightly. And then exhale, bringing the left elbow to the outer right knee. So we're going to come into our prayer twist here. So if you need to get set up, you can do so. You don't have to keep your hands in prayer. Sometimes it can be helpful to bring a fist into the palm. That gives you a little more control with your rotation. But wherever you are, try to lengthen your spine, imagining your spine all the way at the base of your tailbone, and then reaching up, extending all the way through the crown of your head. The heart is lifting. The heart is actually spinning towards that right elbow. Nice deep belly breaths here. Inhale to unwind, reaching the arms up. Exhale, release the hands to the earth. We're going to tuck the back toes, coming into a high lunge. We're keeping the hands down here. This is where it might be helpful to have a block or two. You can place them on either side of your foot. If your fingertips are reaching, then that's great. So we're going to come into our grounded low lunge with the knee lifted. We're going to inhale, bring the gaze and the heart forward. We're going to exhale, we're going to press back into a triangle pose. So we're still lifted on the back toes here. We're just lengthening the left leg, straightening that right knee, and forward folding a bit. So that's our exhale breath. Inhale, come through to the low lunge, lift the heart. Exhale and round, straighten the right leg. So it's kind of similar to the cat-cow we did earlier. Lifting the heart, and then exhaling, pressing, rounding the upper back. So do that 2 more times. And on your next inhale, coming back to the lunge. Exhale, step the left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. So here, bringing the feet hip width distance, bending the knees as deeply as you need to so that the spine can lengthen. So we're just spilling over the legs. The hands can be on the ground. You could grab for opposite elbows. Just finding a nice ragdoll pose here. Releasing the hands, maybe just walking out the legs here. We're going to come to a halfway lift, so bringing the feet a little closer together, bringing the hands to the shins. Inhale and lengthen the spine, so flat back, belly draws in, heart lifts. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees if you need to. Here we're going to walk our feet back to downward facing dog. Taking a breath here in your down dog. Inhale, lift the left heel high. Exhale, bend the knee, draw the knee in towards the chest and step that foot between the hands. So finding our low lunge, dropping the back knee, untucking that right foot. Inhale, rising up. On your next inhale, you can reach the arms high. On the exhale, just allow the right hip flexor to melt towards the earth. Down towards the heart in prayer. Inhale as you lengthen the spine forward. Exhale as you twist. Right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. If you want, you can reset here again. You can keep your hands in prayer, or you can use this fist into the palm technique that gives you a little more leverage. So as you inhale, lengthening the spine all the way from tailbone to the crown of the head. As you exhale, gently twisting, guiding the heart towards the ceiling. So we're doing lots of twists here, which are really detoxifying and really good for the digestion. Also really helpful for lubricating the spine, increasing blood flow and nutrients to the spine, the muscles supporting it. Inhale to untwist, reaching the arms high once more. Exhale, release the hands down. I'm going to come into our cat-cow lunge flow again. So untucking or tucking the back toes, lifting the right knee. Inhaling, lifting the heart, gazing forward in your lunge. Exhale as you press back and round. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, press back. Do that 2 or 3 more times with your own breath. Remembering that cat-cow movement of the spine. Inhale, coming back to your lunge. And then exhale, stepping the right foot to meet the left, forward fold at the top of the mat. So again here, straight legs if that is accessible. Otherwise, go ahead and bend the knees. Let the belly rest on the thighs. Let the head hang heavy. If you'd like here, you can reach for opposite hands behind your back. So coming into a bind, binding the hands below the low back, and then straightening the arms, reaching the knuckles up overhead. Also use a strap here if you have trouble connecting the hands. releasing the hands down. We're going to inhale, take a halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. So now we're going to come into a yogi squat. So this is Malasana. We're going to heel toe the feet to be as wide as the mat. The toes are out, the heels are in. Then we're going to drop down into our squat. So you may want to use a block here if you have it, or a cushion to sit on. This is a nice variation. Or if you have the mobility in your hips and you don't need a block, that's also fine. You can come straight down. We're going to press the elbows into the knees. Hands come to the heart, thumbs come to the sternum. See if you can drop your tailbone and lift your heart. And we're going to breathe here, 5 nice deep breaths, opening the hips. If you feel any pain here in the knees, go ahead and come out of the pose. You should feel a stretch in the groin, maybe in the hamstrings, but no pain. This is also a great pose for improving your ankle mobility. I'm going to bring the hands down to the earth. We're going to bring the hips straight up, finding once again our forward fold. Heel toeing the feet so they're hip width distance apart. We'll take one more forward fold here. We're going to take our peace fingers, loop them around the big toes so that our big toes are pressing into the pads of the fingers. Allow the head and the neck to be heavy. We're going to inhale the halfway lift. And if your knees are bent here, that is okay. This is actually a spine lengthener that just so happens to help the hamstrings as well. But if your knees need to be bent, you'll still get some benefit out of this pose. So inhale, lengthen the spine, knees bent or straight if that's within your reach. Exhale as you forward fold, draw the crown of the head towards the earth. The shoulders are relaxed, the elbows come out to the sides. So this is what your pose might look like if the hamstrings are really open. If they're tighter, you might have a little bend in your knees, but we're still lengthening the spine no matter which variation you're in. You're compressing the hips and lengthening the spine, letting the head and neck be nice and heavy. If you are in the straight leg version, see if you can bring the weight a little more towards your toes. So it might feel a little bit like you're going to fall over, so find that balance, just bringing the weight towards the big toe. And that will bring the hips a little more over the heels. To come out of this, go ahead and bend the knees, release the toes, bring the hands down to the mat. We're going to heel toe our feet together. We're going to step them back to a high plank. From our high plank, don't worry, we're not doing anything crazy here. We're just going to lower all the way down to the belly. We're going to take a few prone back bends here. So the first one is our low cobra. So bringing the hands under the shoulders, the feet are together, the legs are pressing down as if you have one leg. The gaze is down at the mat, forehead can be down as well. We're going to inhale, using the strength of your upper back, lift the heart. So it's going to be a really slight movement, drawing the elbows back towards your heels. Inhale to lift. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. Pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Little to no weight in your hands. Last inhale. Exhale to release, left cheek comes down, arms can relax. This time, bringing the chin down to the mat, we're going to interlace the hands behind the low back. Inhale as you draw them towards the heels, lift the heart. Same thing here, tops of the feet press down, one strong leg behind you. Gaze remains down at the floor, so there's no compression in the neck. Exhale, release. Right cheek comes down, arms release. Bringing the palms under the shoulders, press up through tabletop, then bring the knees as wide as your mat and the toes together. Sink the hips towards the heels for child's pose. Bringing the forehead down to the mat, reaching the arms out in front of you. We're going to add a shoulder stretch to our child's pose. So we're going to take the right arm and we're going to thread it underneath our left arm, bringing the right shoulder down to the mat. And then we're going to bring our left hand and just place it under the forehead. So the gaze is down at the mat, but we're stretching the back of the right shoulder. You can keep the hips exactly where they were in your centered child pose. So release the left hand, press it back in front of you, and then we're going to inhale to unthread that right arm. Extend the right arm, and then we're going to thread the left arm underneath the right, bringing the shoulder down. And then from here, bringing the right hand underneath the forehead, sinking the hips towards the heels. Extending that right arm again, unthreading the left arm. Coming back to your child's pose just for a breath here. Inhale, coming up through tabletop. We'll take a seat. So we're just going to take a few more forward folds here. So we're going to come into Janu Sirsasana. So we're going to bring the left foot into the right inner thigh. The knee is out and elevated, then you can place a block or something, a blanket underneath your knee, because you do want to have some support here. Keeping the left foot nice and flexed, and then the right leg is strong. The toes are flexed, pointing towards the ceiling, the spine is straight, and we're aligning the chest over that right leg. Inhale to sweep the arms high, and exhale to forward fold, reaching beyond your foot, letting the arms fall wherever they fall, finding that nice stretch in the back of the leg. And when you do find it, this is a pose where it is okay to just gently allow your upper body to round. So we're rounding in the upper body versus in the lower spine. Keeping that right leg nice and engaged throughout so the kneecap is lifted. And the aim here is eventually to touch the forehead to the knee, but that may not be happening, so just imagine it. Taking deep belly breaths, feeling lengthening in the outside of the left hip and the low back, as well as in the back of the right leg.
out of this, we're just going to use the hands to walk ourselves up.
And we're going to switch legs, extending the left leg, bringing the sole of the right foot towards the left inner thigh, supporting the right knee if it's lifted, and then starting to line up our torso over that extended leg. Draw the belly in. Feel length, but also engagement in this left leg. The heel might even lift off the ground. Inhale to sweep the arms up. Maintain all of those engagement points. Exhale as you fold, reaching beyond the toes, allowing the arms to fall wherever they fall. Once you have reached a nice stretch, you can go ahead and release the head and the neck. So just a slight rounding in the upper back. Again, using your deep belly breaths here to allow gravity to intensify your stretch. So we're not pulling or pushing, we're just using gravity and the breath. To walk the hands back up, and then we'll bring the legs together, one last forward fold. So we're going to bring the legs, zip them up, same engagement point, so toes lifting, kneecaps lifted, the belly is engaged, the heart's lifted. We're going to reach up with the arms on the inhale. Exhale, reaching beyond the feet, allowing the arms to release, finding that stretch, and then when you do, go ahead and slowly drop the chin. So you should feel stretch in the backs of your legs. You may also feel some opening in the upper back, maybe in the low spine, but no pain. To come out of this pose, as you inhale, slowly walk the hands up the legs. And we'll take a counter stretch. We'll bring the hands behind us, the fingertips pointing towards the glutes. We're going to bend the knees, the feet hip width distance. And as you inhale, press into the palms, lift the hips for a bridge or a tabletop. So we're pressing the hips up. The glutes are nice and relaxed. You can continue gazing down your body. This is the safest gaze for the neck. If you've done this and you know it's within your practice, you can drop your head back. Exhale to release the hips down. Maybe a little windshield wiper back and forth. We're going to come into our final supine stretch before Shavasana, and that's going to be a figure 4. So this is a really good piriformis stretch, which is a muscle in your glutes that can get really tight when we do a lot of leg work. So if you are familiar with pigeon pose in yoga, which is, this pose where we have one leg in front at an angle and we stretch and we eventually sort of lean forward. If you're familiar with that, go ahead and take it, but I'm going to cue for our supine figure 4 pose, which is a little bit safer on the knees and the low back and sacrum. So go ahead and lay back, keeping the knees bent. You're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, allowing that right knee to be open. And you might feel a stretch here. So if this is intense for the right leg or the inner hip, you can stay right here. Just work on pressing that right knee open. To get a little more stretch, go ahead and gather the legs, reaching the hands behind the thigh. It's the safest place. If you don't have any knee issues, you can reach for the top of the shin. It's a little more of an intense stretch. So wherever you're at, whether it's behind the thigh, top of the shin, relax the shoulders, and then just gently draw the legs towards you. So the right knee is staying open, the feet are flexed, and you should feel a stretch in this outer hip and glute area, maybe even in the IT
band. Holding this pose for at least 3 to 5 breaths. Trying to allow the shoulders to release. You're in your pigeon pose, maybe slowly starting to transition out. And if you're doing figure 4, slowly release the left foot down, uncross the legs, uncross left foot over the right knee. And again, if this is enough, just focus on planting the left palm to the left inner thigh and opening that hip. If you need a little more, then gather the legs towards you, interlacing hands behind the right thigh, or if you have no knee issues, on top of the right shin. So again, here, relaxing the shoulders, softening the face, taking 3 to 5 deep belly breaths. Sending your breath to wherever you feel tension. Releasing the legs, right foot comes down, left foot uncrosses. Take one final neutralizing pose, and that'll be happy baby. So drawing both feet in, reaching the hands to the outer soles of the feet, and we're pressing the feet towards the ceiling. So as if you're stamping those feet on the ceiling, at the same time using the fingers to pull the feet down. So there's 2 opposing forces here, and this actually helps to open up the hips. So while you're pressing the feet up, pulling down with the hands, grounding the shoulder blades. The spine is straight, the tailbone is grounded. So really great hip stretch and hip opener. Releasing here. Going ahead and releasing one leg at a time, extending the legs down for a final Shavasana. This is our final resting pose. Please don't skip this. This is super important. Shavasana is our opportunity to sort of just incorporate all of what we did into our mental, spiritual body. And it's really important. So I would encourage you to just lie on your back. Allow your arms and your legs to be in any position that feels comfortable and supported. So that could be arms and legs extended. You could place your hands on your belly. If you have any low back tension, then I would recommend bringing your knees up and your feet as wide as the mat, and then bring the knees in towards one another. That can help any sort of low back or sacral issues, or whatever is most comfortable. Lying here and allowing every part of your body to feel supported, and just acknowledging the work that you've done in your yoga practice, and giving yourself this moment of thanks and gratitude for the amazing things that our bodies continue to do for us. Allowing the breath to come back to a more natural rhythm. So there's no control of the breath here. See if you can soften the muscles in the face, so softening the eyebrows, the cheeks, the jaw, the tongue, softening the neck, the heart, the shoulders, softening the belly, the hips, the pelvis, Softening the thighs, the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Softening the hands, the arms. Just feeling the weight of your body. Allowing this effortlessness to permeate into your mind, softening your mind, releasing any judgment or self-criticism. And sending yourself some love and appreciation for all that you're doing to take care of yourself. Maybe using a mantra like, I am enough. Or I am strong. I am worthy. I am enough. Out of our Shavasana, just begin by wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe reaching the arms up overhead, stretching the toes long. Nice morning stretch. And as you release the arms, bring the feet to the mat, bending the knees. We'll lean over to the right, coming into fetal pose. Keeping the eyes closed here, and then using the left palm, press it into the earth to bring yourself to a seated position with as little effort as possible. And then in our seated position, we'll just cross the legs, or you can come to kneeling. We'll bring our hands to our heart centers, and we'll take a moment just to acknowledge this practice. To acknowledge all the teachers and students that came before us, and to acknowledge one another. And I thank you for trusting me and joining me today, and I hope that this practice served your body well. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you and namaste.